Do you ever feel overwhelmed and maybe even cluttery? Cluttery in your home, there's just way too many belongings and they're overwhelming you. And maybe even cluttery inside. There's so much going on, so much stress, demands from your work or from your home or your family. What you want to feel is peaceful. That is how I used to feel. I have been able to make some changes and have literally taken my life from chaos to calm. And I really want to share what I've done with you. If you're finding any of this familiar or helpful, I hope you decide to subscribe and follow along, because that's what we're trying to do here. One of the things that I did was to make sure that I started my day right. And I've done that in a few ways. I have an app called 10%, and it teaches you to meditate and be mindful. It is not a religious app. You gain the skills that when you realize you're in that state to go, where are my feet? Where are my hands? And you start noticing these different parts of your body, and your mind just calms down, and you learn how to control your thinking in those situations. It's tremendously helpful, so I highly recommend 10%. Or if you're not interested in that app, the idea that you're going to calm yourself every day and do some breathing and find ways to pull yourself out of your head when your head is spinning too much. I also make sure that I take time for God. Now, this might not be something that you do, but I pray every morning and I read some scripture every morning and just bring myself back to the purpose of my life. So that has really helped me. I have taken on other practices that calm me, so let's go through some of those. I have become really picky about which media I consume. I still have Facebook and Instagram on my phone, but I have found that I look at it very rarely, and because I'm not going in as often, I get quickly bored with it. I can see that there's not a lot of benefit for me. If you find that it's kind of a weakness for you, that you go in and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and before you know it, hours have passed, it's really good for you to observe how you feel. How do you feel inside? How does your brain feel? Does it feel overwhelmed? Does it feel cluttered? Do you feel kind of anxious? Well, if you do, those are symptoms that maybe spending so much time on social media isn't good for you. And I'm also really picky about which shows that I watch. Now, I watch a lot of YouTube as replacement for television. So I'm making sure that I'm only watching videos that are uplifting, that inspire me to do more, or that just give some really clean entertainment. That's made a big difference. I have also started the practice of only checking my email once a day. I think that's an overall thing. When you find yourself checking something over and over again, whether it's email, whether it is social media, whether it is websites, you are always on alert. That leads me to one thing that I've learned to do, because I really felt chaotic 3 weeks ago. Really, truly, you might think I'm overemphasizing that, but it's really important for you to know where I was 3 weeks ago. I was so overwhelmed with everything. I was overwhelmed with my home. It wasn't clean. You might look at like the rooms and go, well, they're not cluttery, but it was dirty. Of course, the closets are just impossible in the garage, and I just felt so overwhelmed by it. How was I supposed to straighten all of that out? And I had been overspending to the point that I kept finding myself rebuying things that I already had. I knew it needed to stop. I wasn't exactly sure how. It was really bad. I knew it was really bad, and I knew I needed to fix it because everybody is working outside of the home. It really is my responsibility to keep things up and just do the cleaning, and I want to. I've had a lot of habits to break, expecting my husband and my family to take care of me, to do the cooking and clean and help me with cleaning, which they never did, which always just made me so nervous because I do like my home to be clean. That is one thing that I've learned to do in these 3 weeks, is to take responsibility for myself. I have a way I would like my home to look. I need to be the one to do it because it's important to me. I shouldn't be mad at my family because they can't do it and they're not interested in doing it the way I want. In a way to break that bad habit, just get started. You're not going to have this brilliant moment when you start feeling like doing it. Like, I wanted to start cooking. It means so much to my family. They like my food so much better because, well, I just have more experience. I'm more skilled at it. But I just wasn't able to make myself do it, I was waiting to feel like cooking. Well, I learned that you're not going to ever feel like it. Just get started. And then the more you get started and the more you do it, then you start feeling more like it and you start to feel more satisfied with it and you start remembering how good it feels and it gets easier and easier to do it. Now when I cook, I just feel this calm feeling because I am just doing the one thing at a time. And that's another thing to learn to do. I highly recommend that you try to monotask. You know what monotasking is? It's where you're doing one thing at a time. You're really noticing what you're doing. You're enjoying the sounds of cooking. Like when I'm cooking, I hear the sounds of the spoon going around in the bowl, of the chopping of the vegetables, just thinking about how much my family is going to like that meal. Multitasking used to be highly prized. In fact, when you went to get a new job, people would ask you, "Can you multitask?" And of course, I could say yes. I was like the queen of multitasking. But I found it was really bad for me. Bad for my soul, bad for my mind, because I was split all the time. I would check my email and then it would take me a minute to do something else and I would get going on that and then I'd check my email again and it was this vicious cycle. So multitasking was bad for me and I've had to learn to give that up. Another thing I've been learning to do is to just be happy when I accomplish anything. I had too high of expectations for myself. So I would say lower your expectations. And by that I mean you can't do everything at once. I have taken on this new method, which I have shown you in past videos, where I keep a running bag with me, and I now keep one bag upstairs and one bag downstairs. And just in the course of my day, when I come across things that can be decluttered, I put them in the bag. And then when the bags get full, I put them in the back of my car. And then when the car gets full, I take them down to the thrift store and donate them. I feel really good about everything I've decluttered. And I've decluttered things that were really surprising to me. I went in to get dressed and I realized I need to get rid of all my flowery shirts. And that was something I would recommend to you. Look at your clothing, at the things that you have in your home, and think, do these things make me feel calm? I had this really beautiful bedding that I bought after my mother died because I just wanted something beautiful, and I do love this very much. But I just felt like I needed something calmer for a while. So I had this gray striped bedding. So I got it out and it was really wrinkly and I knew that the wrinkles would make me feel kind of chaotic. I went to the trouble of ironing it, which didn't feel like trouble. It was very calming. And then I changed it out, and then I looked at my room, and I got rid of some things that I had bought that I really wasn't using. And so my surfaces are not empty, but they are calmer. And so at the end of the room, with the change of the colors and the stripes and everything, the room now feels calm to me. So if you really are looking to calm your life and simplify your life, look for different ways that you can calm your life down. Even temporarily, you might later be able to bring some of those things that you really love back in and see, do I still feel calm, or am I now starting to feel chaotic? And if you feel chaotic, then you can know, well, maybe this is something I need to donate. And something I have discovered, and you might find this true as well, some rooms need to be calmer than other rooms. For instance, I found that I needed to get rid of all of the things that were on my counter in my bathroom, pretty much. I had a turntable that had a lot of things on it, and I had a brush holder that had a lot of brushes in it that I don't use. So one day I went through and I pulled out the brushes I actually use, and I put them in my makeup case, which I store under the sink. I threw away the brushes I don't use, and I donated the brush holder. And then my counter is clean. So now when I go in my bathroom, I just feel a lot calmer. But my living room is our library, and I have all of the books, and I love all of those books, and I've got the bookshelves just jammed with books. But I actually feel really peaceful and calm and happy when I go in that room, and I have a lot of really comfortable pillows. So it is certainly not a minimalist room. Don't feel the pressure that you need to get rid of everything in every room. And I have also worked to find a reasonable cleaning schedule. I've experimented with different ways, but in the last 3 weeks, I've come up with zone cleaning, and I don't know if you know what that is. On one day, I'm just going to clean one area, and then it should be a little bit more reasonable, at least for me. I am realizing, well, I can't really finish this today, so I'll work on this tomorrow, but yay, I did this much. And between that and my one bag at a time method of decluttering, I'm actually making some really good progress in my home. It's still, there's so much to do, it's just crazy. But I now feel like I will be able to do it, and I'm not worried about the fact that it's going to take me a long, long, long time. Try to find methods like that that work for you. You could try doing something like I'm doing. It might work. But there would be something that you can do, because it's really, 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 I've said really many, many, many times, that you learn to pace. When I had long COVID and I was sick for a year, I went to a cognitive therapist. And what we worked on the whole time was teaching me to pace. There are 4 zones. There are green zone, yellow zone, red zone, and purple zone. The green zone is when you're feeling really good and it's easy to do things. Yellow is when you start feeling a little fatigued. And there are different activities that can cause fatigue. So physical, definitely. Emotional, or when you're interacting with people, or cognitive effort. Like if you're working at a desk job, that can really wear at your brain, and as you know, will make you tired, just like if you were working physically. So any of those kind of efforts can make you feel kind of tired. So as soon as you feel tired, you need to take a little break. And when you're feeling tired like that, you're in the yellow zone. Well, if you work way, way too much and you get in the red zone, then you're exhausted. It might be a little hard to talk to people. You just want to get away. You can't hardly think. You're feeling overwhelmed. And then there's another level called purple, and that's when you've gone way too far, to the point where you are definitely overwhelmed. You may feel depressed. Some people even start feeling suicidal during that time. You feel like things are hopeless. You really want to avoid getting in the red and the purple. And the way you can find out what you do is to get a calendar, and then multiple times during the day you make a little dot, whether it's green or yellow or red or purple. So if you're green, you're great, and then if you get to yellow, you write that down, and then you know, okay, I need to rest, and try to get yourself back in the green. If you've gone too far, or you've got up in the morning and you're feeling sick and you think, I really am in the red, if you're in the red, that's a really big clue that you need to rest. So then you'll rest and try to get yourself back, and you might see yourself go to yellow and then finally to green. It might take a day or two. One of the things I've done to get myself out of that, to not feel overwhelmed, to feel peaceful and calm, was to pace. So pace. I could say that for 20 minutes. That's how important it is. A couple of things are maybe a little odd, but they really help me. As I stop watching TV in my bedroom unless I'm sick and I'm having to take care of myself. We stopped watching TV here earlier than we used to, so we both have time to kind of decompress and do some reading and get ready to go to bed so that we can sleep better. So I'm trying to get, just better habits before I go to bed. And an odd one is I am growing my hair out, because then I don't have to get my hair colored as much. And when I told my husband I was growing it out, he was like, yay! I promised you that you can take your life from chaotic to calm, from overwhelmed to calm in 3 weeks. And I really believe that, because that's what I've done. And I don't know that I would have thought that was possible, because I was in really rough shape. So now, if you really want to do this, but you're not sure how you're going to get started because maybe it's hard for you to get started, I have this great video I just released on overcoming procrastination, and it could really help. It's linked right here, and I hope I see you next week. Bye.